Yo, what's up guys, it is Ben and welcome back to another video. Today it is the final day of the championship and this has probably been one of the most insane final days of the championship ever. Literally the worst teams in the league beating up the best teams in the league, mad things happening, promotions, relegations, absolute late goals, weird stuff happening. So basically, first match of the final day was Birmingham City versus Fulham. So everybody, I bet, was expecting Fulham to come on top here. So basically what happened was Birmingham City beat Fulham 3-1. And Birmingham were getting close to relegation. They were kind of in a bit of a little relegation scrap. But they got out of it after a win today. So it was half time at 2-0, so a goal in the 50th minute from I'm very sorry about this if any Birmingham fans watching, but Jutkiewicz. Try and spell that out for me, any Birmingham fans, if you know how to say that. Then in the 43rd minute by Dean, and then it was half time, and then Kearney for Fulham piped up for Fulham and scored in the 84th minute. But this was a bit too late for Fulham because then Adams came back in the 89th minute and scored to make it 3-1 to Birmingham. So Birmingham had a not bad season. They managed to stay up, but they didn't have a great season. So pretty mediocre for them. Fulham, on the other hand, literally just missed out on automatic. So they're probably going to go up by playoffs, but it depends. They might have a bit of a scrap in the playoffs. It depends, because Fulham were unbeaten in 20-something games, 5 or 4 or something like that, and then they've gone and lost to Birmingham, which means they've probably lost a bit of their confidence and a bit of their form going into the playoffs. It's not very good. So if you're going in the playoffs, it's good to win the last game of the season because you get lots of confidence going into the playoffs. So anyway, on to the second game. Now guys, this was probably the most insane important match of the whole thing. Bolton Wanderers versus Nottingham Forest. So this was really important for Bolton. They needed to win basically to stay up. If they drew, they would still have gone down. So this was insane for them. So what happened was Le Fondre scored in the 67th minute, and then Forest piped up, and Osborne scored in the 70th, and then Cole back in the 79th. So it's 2-1 to Forest. Bolton are going down, and then Wheater comes up for Bolton and scores in the 87th minute. But Bolton are still going down, and then literally the next minute, Wilbraham, the guy who scored literally a 90th minute header against Wednesday, my team, pops up and they talk. This guy gets loads of late goals. He scores in the 88th minute to make it 3-2 to Bolton, and that is a full-time score. Bolton managed to stay in the championship by Wilbraham. Yeah, that's Bolton staying up. But Nottingham Forest getting a pretty average season again. Just around lower mid-table to mid-table. That's what they usually get. So another one of them seasons for Forest. Maybe they can do something next season. I don't know. Leave your suggestions down below, Forest fans. Right guys, the next one is Brentford versus Hull City. So this wasn't one of the most the other really important games. So it was Brentford 1, Hull City 1. So it was in the first half it was Canos for Brentford, scored in the 12th minute, and then Bowen for Hull City scored in the 45th minute +2 injury time. So it went into half time as 1-1 and stayed 1-1 for the rest of the match. Brentford missing out on playoffs, obviously. Hull City escaping a little relegation scrap a few games ago when they finally mathematically cleared themselves from relegation. So yeah, Brentford and Hull City, not much really to play for. Brentford had a decent season. Hull City, not a great one. To say they run the Premier League, to the next game. Right guys, so the next game is Bristol City 2, Sheffield United 3. So this is a pretty annoying one for me as I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Sheffield United always winning is not very good for me. So Sheffield United start the game, 8th minute, Clark scoring, and then Billy Sharp scoring in the 29th, and then Freeman in the 34th. So half time it's 3-0 to Sheffield United. Bear in mind the Sheffield United are away at Bristol City, so this is pretty strong from United. And Bristol City finally come through with Flint in the 60th minute and then Bryan in the 75th, but this isn't enough because it's 3-2 in the end and Bristol City don't manage to get an equaliser. So both these teams were looking like playoff teams, but ended up not being, as losing out in the past few games, which I mean, Sheffield United came up last season and they've had a really good season. To say I'm a Wednesday fan, they've had a really good season, Sheffield United, so well done to you. But they just, what happened to you Sheffield United fans and Bristol City fans? Leave your comments down below. What happened to your team? Why were your team just started losing and they missed out on the playoffs? Why did that happen? Right guys, so the next game is Cardiff City 0, Reading 0. So this was a very, very important one for Cardiff. They either needed to win or hope that Fulham lost, and well, Fulham lost. So Cardiff City got the 2nd place and they got the 2nd automatic promotion spots. So Cardiff City, we will be seeing them in the Premier League next season. So bye bye to Cardiff City from the Championship. They're going up. Well done to them. They had a very good squad this season. They played well. I don't know if we look at the stats here. Cardiff probably should have beaten Reading. It was 15 shots for Cardiff and 1 for Reading, and yeah, it was quite one-sided, Cardiff versus Reading. Cardiff probably deserved to get a goal, but I'm sure they don't really care. They went up anyway. It's been a very good season for Cardiff. For Reading, on the other hand, finished just above relegation, so not too great for them to say they were in the playoff final last season. Right guys, so into the next game, it was Derby County versus Barnsley. This was very important for Barnsley. They pretty much needed to win or draw to stay up, and they managed to lose. So Derby County won 4-1 against Barnsley. It was Jerome breaking the deadlock in the 14th minute, and then Vidra in the 55th, Nugent in the 68th, and then Lawrence in the 71st. A bit of a consolation goal for Moncur in the 80th, but it doesn't really matter because at this point Barnsley were just hoping for other scores, because I guess they probably knew they'd already lost. So they were hoping on Nottingham Forest beating Bolton and Burton losing, but didn't end up happening. Bolton won. So yeah, poor Barnsley. And of the Championship, you know that Derby always has this season when they look like they're going to be on the playoffs and then they screw it right at the end of the season and just miss the playoffs. So they've actually got the playoffs this season. But are they going to win? It depends. Do you Derby County fans think that Derby are actually going to win the playoffs this season? Because they've had a pretty good season. But yeah, on to the next game. Right guys, so the next game is Ipswich Town versus Middlesbrough. So this was a pretty unlucky for Ipswich. Ipswich really did not have anything to play for in this game. Middlesbrough are in the playoffs. They are 5th. So they definitely had something to play for. They kind of wanted to win or draw. They didn't really want to lose because it may have been quite risky. Maybe a few teams below them winning, but I'm pretty sure they had it guaranteed for playoffs. So not really any of this game actually really mattered. But basically what happened was Freddie Sears in the 8th minute scores, and it's 1-0 at half time. Then Downing comes to make it 1-1. And then Waghorn in the 83rd minute with a pen. Bet all Ipswich fans, you probably thought that was all over, you beating Middlesbrough 2-1, but no. Bamford with an equaliser in the 96th minute, which is probably really heartbreaking for Ipswich Town fans, even though it doesn't really matter. Right, next game we have is Leeds United 2, QPR 0. So Leeds beating QPR. It didn't really matter. Leeds hadn't got missed. They had missed out on playoffs again, like many other seasons before. QPR didn't actually have anything to play for, so it didn't really matter anything to them. They weren't going up, they weren't going down, so I'm sure they probably didn't really care about this one. Leeds United getting a win. So QPR haven't had a bad season. It's quite a normal season for QPR these days. But yeah, Leeds United winning doesn't really matter to them. They've had a pretty normal season, like a table finish for them again. Near to playoffs, but not anywhere really close to them. Next game we have is Millwall 1, Aston Villa 0. So this was quite surprising because Millwall were pushing for playoffs, but they didn't actually get playoffs even though they did win. Williams with a 30th minute penalty to make it 1-0 at half time, and then that remained 1-0 for the remainder of the match. Aston Villa doesn't really matter because they had already guaranteed playoffs, so it didn't really matter if they lost or won or draw. But Aston Villa looking pretty strong. They've got a pretty strong team for the playoffs. So do you Aston Villa fans think you're going to win? I've said this for all of the playoff teams, but hopefully you guys can have like a little battle in the comments. Who do you think is going to win the playoffs? Yeah, not too bad for Millwall, and Aston Villa, not too bad either. Preston North End 2, Burton Albion 1. This was heartbreaking for Burton Albion. Preston North End scored in the 26th minute with Robertson, half time, where it was 1-0. Akpan in the 63rd minute, he's been pretty decent on form in the past few games, been scoring in the past few games. And then Mullet, I don't know how you say his name. Some of you Preston fans can correct me in the comments, but he scores in the 93rd minute, probably heartbreaking for Burton Albion fans, even though they would have gone down if they had drawn anyway because of Bolton winning. But pretty sad for you to see Burton go down, as Nigel Clough hasn't actually been relegated as a manager in 20 seasons. That's pretty bad for him. He had a very good record. But yeah, on to the next game. This is probably, in my opinion, the best one. Sheffield Wednesday 5, Norwich City 1. So Sheffield Wednesday getting a 5-1 win when I'm in Swansea, not seeing the match, is pretty annoying for me, but it's absolutely insane, this one. So in the 14th minute, Nahui opens the scoring to make it 1-0. Then Forestieri in the 30th, and then it's Venancio, our centre-back Venancio, probably winning a header. I don't think it'd be an actual shot with his foot in the 58th minute. And then literally 2 minutes after, in the 60th, it's Nahui again to get his second on the board. Could he get a hat-trick? So it's 4-0 right now. Then Norwich City get a pretty pointless consolation goal for Close in the 83rd minute. And then Ati comes in the 93rd minute with a pen and gets a hat-trick. And this is our Sheffield Wednesday's first hat-trick in almost 8 years, I believe. And I missed that, so yeah, that's pretty annoying. But anyway, I'm fine in Swansea. It's fun here. We've been very good in our past 10 games. So if we were going off past 10 games, we'd be very high up in the table, seeing as we've been winning loads and a lot of our good players have been coming back from injury. Norwich City having a pretty normal season, around about the same place than us. They were only one place above us with 3 points more than us. So we both had a pretty similar season, to be honest. But anyways, on to the last game. Finally, guys, the last game. Sunderland, relegated Sunderland 3, champions Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. So this is probably the most astonishing game of them all. Sunderland, 24th, Sunderland, relegated Sunderland, beat Wolves, who were first, the champions Wolves, 3-0. That is absolutely insane. That just proves how weird and wonderful the championship is. You can get a very normal game and then you can get a 3-0 Sunderland versus Wolves. So Jaria in the 19th minute to open the scoring for Sunderland, and then Fletcher in the 45th to make it half-time, 2-0 to Sunderland, already being quite insane. And then in the 66th, McNair getting his first of the game to make it 3-0 to Sunderland. So yeah, obviously everybody knows Wolves have had an insane season, winning the championship. Sunderland, probably one of their worst seasons ever, going back-to-back relegations. So relegated from the Premier League, coming down to the Championship, and then getting relegated from the Championship to League One. This is good for Sunderland. Hopefully they can bounce back and come back into the Championship, because they've 3-0 win at Wolves. That seems pretty positive, so they can come back in League One next season with a pretty positive start to the season. So that will wrap up the Championship season review. It's literally, this season has been absolutely insane. Hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to like, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Leave these comments down below. I'll read all you guys' comments. Tell me who do you think is going to win the playoffs, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.